Hello. So I have not done a relationship type talk in a minute. And there are so many things that I want to share. First, I want to tackle the topic of self-entitled women. This was requested a while back, and I just got busy and didn't have a chance to really sit with it and speak on it. So here I go. I want to pull my notes up. How this conversation even came about is there was a post on Instagram. It was a reel, and there's a young lady who basically said she likes her man to tell her what to do, because like she was talking about submission, and if her man told her not to go somewhere, then she would listen or something along those lines. There were a lot of women who was like, no, I don't need someone to tell me what to do, things of that nature. And the comments, oh Jesus, a lot of men were very disgusting in the comments, like basically saying that women were going to get SA'd if they go out, and that's why their man told them to stay at home. And so I commented that, if women are not safe going out, it's because of men's behaviors and men's issues. So it's not a woman problem, it's a man problem. But yeah, there were some other comments and stuff like that. And someone commented, I'm trying to, let me see. How do I make this bigger? There we go. Where was the comment at? What about the self-entitled women? So let's just talk about this, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And maybe I'll include the Instagram reel in the comments. I don't know. And then like one of the things I said too is that, if you want to be with someone who's okay with being told what to do, then there are women who want that type of relationship. They want someone to say, go here, don't go there, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. But to try and make it seem like men's role in the world is to tell women what to do is just highly wrong, for lack of a better term. Also, one of the things that I commented is that submission in a healthy relationship, it will happen naturally. I believe it was the great goddess, I can see her face, Jill Scott, that said, if a man can tell me what to do, he can tell me what to do. But if he can't tell me what to do, he can't tell me what to do. Submission is not something that can be forced or demanded. It happens naturally within a healthy partnership. Oftentimes, if a woman is not trusting enough of you to listen to her mate or to a man, it's because she don't trust you. She doesn't feel safe around you. Your judgment may be off, or again, it just falls back to like she doesn't feel that she can trust you. And so that's like, yeah. And then if we think about all of the women who have been in toxic, unhealthy, abusive relationships, trying to tell them what to do or trying to get them to submit is going to be a lot harder, because you are going to have to earn that respect. And I think that's something that is missing as well. Anyways, I'm going to get back on topic, because that whole conversation about submission gets really, really weird, really fast. And I think it's something that, as a whole, men and women both don't, on a grand scale, really understand what that is, or either we have two completely different understandings of what submission is. Just because you're in a relationship with someone does not give you the right to tell them where they can and cannot go. If it's out of fear for their safety, I totally get it. But again, that's a conversation that men need to have with other men. Because if a woman cannot go out to hang out with her girlfriends, wherever it may be, because you are afraid a man will harm her, that's a deeper issue than her wanting to go somewhere. Do you see what I'm saying? And I think that's the disconnect. It's like, if we can't be safe out in the world where we got to stay at home, or even that, I think one of the things that I said too is like, Men don't care whether women are harmed or not unless that woman belongs to him. She is now property that he must protect, instead of men as a collective protecting women because that's what they're supposed to do, right? So like it goes deeper than that. But okay, back on topic, self-entitlement. So when we talk about self-entitlement, there is actually a clinical definition of what self-entitlement is. It is actually a narcissistic trait. So can there be women who are self-entitled? Absolutely. We're all self-entitled, again, on a scale to like, there's, I guess, a healthy range, and then you have that like narcissistic range of self-entitlement. We're all innately entitled to certain things as beings, right? Respect. You feel like you're entitled to receive pay for your work. You feel like you're entitled to, go outside for a walk. There are things that we feel entitled to as human beings. So for there to be a level of self-entitlement, yes, as long as it's a healthy self-entitlement. I want to see if I can pull up the clinical definition. Real quick. Okay. So what is a sense of entitlement? Blah, 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 blah. So in the clinical sense, where it is a narcissistic trait, it's where someone thinks you always owe them something. It's a sense of deservedness or being owed when you don't do anything for it. So I don't know the person who left the comment. I don't know their point of reference, so I can't speak directly to that. So I'm going to just talk about the definition and just in general. So I think for a lot of us, whether someone is self-entitled or not is based off of our own unique perspective, right? And it also comes down to what we value. And again, that's based on our own unique perspective. That comes down to like what you feel you should give to a partner and what you feel a partner should give to you. So here's where things get a little dicey. A lot of women are really treating themselves like they are taking trips, they're going to nice restaurants, they're buying themselves nice things, they are taking care of themselves, spa days, taking care of themselves to a higher level, standard, right? Because that's what she wants, that's what she deserves, and that's what she should receive. So again, here's where perspective and values and all of that comes in, right? If a woman is taking care of herself to this level, she is going to expect a man to also take care of herself on this level, okay? If she's taking care of herself on this level, she's going to also expect a man to take care of herself on this level. If she's taking care of herself on this level and just expects someone to do stuff that's way up here that she hasn't even done for herself, then that may be an issue where, yes, there's some self-entitlement. Now, that's not to say that if you're down here, you should not or cannot be treated like this up here. And this doesn't mean good or bad. I'm just showing like different levels of ways that people can care for themselves. So there are times when women are clearly out of pocket. We've seen little video snapshots of people like really demanding things. I'm trying not to say, but men are also very self-entitled. I've seen enough videos of men telling women they got to get out of their car if they're not putting out, and they got to look like this and do this, and they are not at that same standard as well. So when women are clearly out of pocket and just demanding things, and here's the thing, right? Self-entitlement is when you want something for nothing. You feel like you have to give me this because I want it, and I don't have to give you anything in return. So this again comes back into reciprocity within a relationship. So there's that aspect of it as well. Like, are you, and this is not to say you have to take care of your partner or anything like that, but if you, want someone to give, there's a give and receive. And I think what has happened is that women are tired of giving because in past experience, they have given and given and given and have gotten nothing back but lies and deception and trickery and abuse and whatever else. And there have been men that have been given, and they have been taken advantage of. They have been used, they have been lied to, they have been deceived. So now everybody's like this. I'm not doing shit unless you do something first. So it's like a stalemate. And so women are like, well, if you really care about me, then I need you to do this, and this. Otherwise, and men are like, well, I'm not doing this, and this because you might be playing me, or you don't even deserve it. What do you bring to the table? So there's this sad, heartbreaking situation that's happening between men and women. And, I think that men and women both deserve to be treated lovingly. When I have a partner, like, I want to be able to also treat him, right? I want to be able to do nice things for him because I love him, because I care, because I want to show him that he's special. But I think what has happened is we've started seeing people wanting to be treated specially as them being demanding, as them being gold diggers, as them being users, as them being self-entitled. And so it's this tug of war. Well, I won't do this unless you do this. And if you do this, then I'll do this. And so what happened to love? Right? What happened to just genuinely caring for people? But people have been hurt, both men and women, so much that it's just like, again, like everybody's like, well, it is what it is. And I think that's why there's so many situationships. There's, the glorified side chick. There's just, the friends with benefits, because it's easier just to have your physical needs met than to be emotionally vulnerable and expect something from another person. So again, when men and women are clearly out of pocket and are being self-entitled, where, they are just demanding things and not giving anything in return. And I have been in a partnership like that. That person was actually narcissistic. It was a fucking nightmare. And sometimes it's not being self-entitled. I think sometimes it's a protection mechanism where, again, like, they've been hurt before. They poured out their everything into this one person, and that person didn't do shit in return but step on their heart. But, we have to find some sort of happy medium. It's not right for anyone to really be self-entitled in that way, where they're just demanding to be treated like a king or a queen or whatever, and they're just not doing anything to warrant that. And they should correct that behavior, just as a man should also correct his behavior. And that should be done, whether it's through therapy, counseling, healing, or whatever other methods of tending to their mental health and their relational and spiritual well-being. So my work and my platform is really all about helping people to heal, grow, and thrive. And so I speak to those who generally have been wounded in relationships, whether it's with a family member, whether it is with a partner, or whether it's through, being unloving towards the self. So there are men and women alike who are self-entitled, and that is a them issue. That is a problem that they have, and that comes from some sort of wounding or trauma that they have experienced. And there needs to be healing around that. And that's not something that we can force. No matter how much we would want for someone to heal, to change, to grow, like, we can't force them. They have to be, number one, aware of their behavior, and then they have to be willing to change their behavior. So it's up to you and I to be aware of who we're interacting with, to get to know someone, to understand what are their values, what do they require and desire in a relationship, what have they experienced in the past, how do they communicate. To get to know people, I think, helps to mitigate some of this. But then again, we can get into a conversation about how people play roles and characters, and they put on these facades. So it's hard to truly know who the essence of someone is without getting to know them. And oh my gosh, I have a story about that. But yeah, it's up to us to be aware of who we're choosing to interact with, who we date. And sometimes just being that reflection and like being that spark in their life may encourage them to go within and do their own inner work and change, but it also may not. So, you know, it is what it is. And all we can do is be aware, like, okay, is this a person who is really open and ready for what I desire in a relationship or no? As soon as you see the first yellow flag, that's when you start turning on your eyes, opening your ears, and paying attention to their actions and their words. And when you see that first red flag, you take it at face value. Okay, this is not in alignment. This is not in alignment. You got to go back it up, back it up, back it up. And that's something that I just really experienced, and I'll maybe do a separate video about that later. But I just wanted to kind of talk about self-entitlement. Yes, it is an issue within the relationship space. On a more serious scale, it is a narcissistic trait, but I also feel that, and then again, narcissism can develop out of wounding based upon how someone was raised, based upon their life experiences. So we just have to be careful in this day and age. And I also have a theory about narcissism on the spiritual side. So people who are exhibiting these traits of like self-entitlement, narcissism, manipulation, abuse, this, that, and the third, on a spiritual level, on an energetic level, we have to recognize what that is and really be heightened and aware that there are energies or people who are just not of a good nature, and really be mindful so that we are guarding our hearts and our minds and just being very careful. Because I feel like for us, especially for women, right? Relationships are an easy way to distract and destroy a woman. And I guess same thing for men as well. However, I feel like relationships have been weaponized, and there is an element of spiritual warfare that is involved in all of this. So we just really have to be discerning, aware, present, mindful, open, yet also protective. I love you, and I will see you again soon. Peace.